Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Well, spring has just about arrived and winter is gone. And that means we're all thinking about decluttering. And Earth Day was just here too. So it's a time to recycle and organize. And my special guest today is a professional home organizer. She's going to help us do just that. Her name is Donna Barwald, and she is, as mentioned, a professional home organizer, but she's also an author, and she's got a great book out about home organizing, and she joins us from Los Angeles. But before we get started, I have some quick tips on spring cleaning and organizing to get us started. So, spring cleaning traditionally marks the end of winter and the welcome of warmer weather. It's just a time to refresh and as I mentioned, to declutter our homes. The ritual of spring cleaning is believed to have originated from the Iranian Nowruz. I believe I got that name correct. It's the Persian New Year, which falls on the first day of spring. So that's where its origins are from. In the 19th century, before the advent of the vacuum cleaner, March was often the best time for dusting because it was getting warm enough to open windows and doors, but not yet so warm that insects would be a problem. Here's my quick tip list for effective spring cleaning. First, create a checklist, and you're going to start with a comprehensive checklist that covers your house from top to bottom. This should include once a year tasks ideally suited for the season. My second tip is to declutter first. Before you do deep cleaning, go room by room and just declutter. Donate, sell, or discard items that you no longer need or use. Or if you can upcycle things, as I mentioned, Earth Day was just here, and it reminds us to recycle and upcycle things. So if there's any way that you can upcycle or recycle, definitely do that. My third step is to tackle one room at a time. Focus on one room before moving to the next. This kind of prevents feeling overwhelmed and ensures a thorough cleaning. And if it's all overwhelming, as mentioned, just start with one room at a time. My fourth step is to use natural cleaning solutions. Use natural cleaners like vinegar and baking soda. For windows, a solution of 1/4 cup rubbing alcohol, a 1/3 cup of vinegar, and distilled water can be effective, and you don't need to go out and buy all those harsh chemicals that are really, in essence, bad for you anyway. My fifth step is don't forget the overlooked areas. Clean surfaces that are often ignored, such as baseboards, door frames, walls, and sliding door tracks. My sixth step is to deep clean carpets. Rent a deep cleaner or hire professional services to clean your carpets, which can really trap a lot of winter's worth of dirt and germs. My seventh step is to just organize as you go. As you clean, you can organize your belongings. Use storage solutions like baskets, bins, and dividers just to keep everything in place. My eighth tip, my last tip or last step, is to make it fun. Create a playlist of your favorite songs to keep you motivated, or turn it into a family activity with rewards for completed tasks. Remember, spring cleaning does not have to be a chore. It's just an opportunity to take control of your environment and create a space that feels refreshed and rejuvenating. And remember, it also gives you the opportunity to upcycle and recycle things. Happy cleaning and organizing, and stay tuned for my interview with Donna Barwald, the home organizer. Discover the secrets of authentic Italian cuisine with my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. You know, there's 3 books in the series, and from mouth-watering pasta dishes to delectable desserts, this award-winning book series brings Italy's culinary heritage to your kitchen. Get your copy today. You can get it at Amazon, Kindle, or marialiberati.com or artoflivingprimamedia.com. Hey, welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. My special guest today is author Donna Barwald, and she is going to help us unclutter our lives, unclutter our houses, I should say. So I think we all need help. I said me included in knowing how to do that. Donna, tell us the title of your book. Hold it up.
This mess is making me stress. How to organize your home and find peace.
Yes, so definitely.
I'm a professional organizer in Los Angeles, and things I realize that are so second nature to me are brand new to people. And everybody that I've ever talked to, like light bulbs have gone off, and something is shifted inside. And so I figured, as I was getting older, I had just turned 60 at the time. It's a year-old book. Anyway, I thought, I should make my mark on the world and leave something of me.
Yes.
Because God knows my kids don't listen to me. So,
so how did you help others? How did you become a professional organizer? Is that something that you really had a knack for doing, like before you?
Basically, the professional part of it was only because when I had kids, and especially since I have a kid who we later found out was autistic, I could never keep a whole full-time job working for somebody. So I needed to work for myself so I could make my own hours, and mostly with other moms at the time, because they would understand if your kid gets sick or gets called, if you get called into the principal's office, which unfortunately I did a lot. Nobody knew that they were autistic, so they so it looked like bad behavior. And so I was constantly getting called, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. But I had a lot of other fun jobs, and my background is in theater administration, and I'm an actress. And at one point, I had a midlife crisis when I was doing character work at Universal Studios in Hollywood. I was, the costume characters that you encounter.
Yes.
And, but this is something that I just always did. And basically my take on it was something that you have to do for your mental health, and became more and more important as life went on and motherhood went on, and the challenges that went with that. I still have, that kid is still at home, is 18 now. I had my kids late. But I was always organizing my own house when I was a kid and driving everybody crazy. And then, you run out of friends and family, and then eventually you're like, referred to other people, and then people start paying you for it. And anyway, that's how that came up.
That's great. So yes, you did have a knack for that. So give us some tips. I know the first place we'll start with is the kitchen. And you're absolutely right. I think there are things, it's kind of the same thing with me. I know when I started writing books on cooking and teaching, I didn't really think it was any big deal to know about cooking. I just kind of grew up with that in Italian families. You grew up like that. And I just thought everybody knew, it was like something. And there were lots of things that I would take for granted that other people did not know. So I'm sure there are lots of tips and lots of things you can tell us that are things that we're not realizing, some simple things too. Right. But anyway, yes, let's start with the kitchen, because I know we have a lot of foodies listening in.
Okay. Well, first I just wanted to tell people, I don't know if this is good or bad for you, for your situation, but people who are
Yes.
trying to lose weight,
Yes.
I just lost 14 pounds. I'm very excited.
Wow. That
I'm on a
congratulations.
new journey here.
Uh-huh.
There's a study
Uh-huh.
that talks about the relationship, well, lots of studies, but I
Right.
talk about the relationship between clutter and stress and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I found really interesting in one of these studies is that when you're in a visually cluttered environment,
Uh-huh.
the stress hormone, cortisol, is released in greater quantities so that you're under constant stress. And so, one of the best reasons to unclutter
Mm-hmm.
your home, your life, your environment is for your own mental
For
health.
your own
But
health.
one of the studies they found out is that when people were in a cluttered environment,
Uh-huh.
they ate more,
Wow, how bad.
like
I guess
over
from the
and like
stress, right?
overweight.
Probably
Yeah,
from the stress too, from the stress. But
right.
I would definitely believe that because I know when my office is a little kind of, stuff is all over the place. Once it just feels good once it's all organized. It's like, wow, you just are in a better place. It just puts you in a better frame of mind, a
Yeah.
better place. Same thing with kitchen and anywhere. So I could definitely see how that is really true. So yeah, then that helps also with people that summer is coming, spring, and people do want to sometimes shed pounds that they've gained from kind of sitting in for the winter. So that's a good tip. An easy tip right there is declutter. That might help a little bit with losing weight.
It
But
also burns a lot of calories because
yes,
it's
exactly. You
like
know what? It really, really does. And I love to, if I have the time, I really like to declutter, and kind of clean my space on my own because it does. It's a great way for exercising. You're exercising. So it does. It does burn a lot of calories.
you get
And
your steps in, and my house is so small that
uh-huh,
unless I'm actively cleaning and organizing my house or someone else's house, I don't
right,
get enough steps in.
right.
So I have to like go out of my way to keep moving, and that
Yes,
definitely keeps you active. But
exactly.
the bigger thing is that people are ashamed of their homes, and
Uh-huh,
they could be like at the top of their game professionally. But
uh-huh.
then when it comes to their houses, every time I go into somebody's house, when they let me in, because
Hmm.
so many people are afraid to get help because, like they don't want anybody to clean their house because they're embarrassed. And it's like,
Right,
well,
right.
if people's houses didn't look like this, I'd be out of a job. So
Exactly.
I have no judgment. All I want to do is help. Um,
Exactly.
but it keeps people isolated. And
Hmm.
people are afraid to invite anybody over. And it's really sad because during the pandemic, we couldn't. And in Los
Yes.
Angeles, we
Uh-huh.
were locked down tighter and longer than anybody. And so
Wow.
the ability now to go over to people's houses is, wonderful. But so many people don't want anybody over because they're ashamed of what their house looks like. So my
Uh-huh.
goal is to not only transform your house, but to
Uh-huh.
transform people's lives
Uh-huh.
because I want them to feel proud and I want them to feel social and I want them to
Exactly.
feel, that they've accomplished something and I don't want them to feel less than. A lot of
Right.
people think if they're unorganized,
Uh-huh.
that that's like a moral failing or something.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's really just executive function skills. And
Hmm.
if you are neurodivergent, like you have ADHD or
Right.
autistic or just in general, if you don't have these executive function skills,
Uh-huh.
then you're not going to know how or be able to do what it takes. Somebody said, I can't fix the very thing that drives me crazy because they don't have the executive function skills. Um, so my goal is to make people not feel bad about that. I mean, you
Right.
wouldn't feel bad if you can't cook like Maria Liberati, and if
Uh-huh.
you can't write a symphony like Mozart, or you can't play piano. Are you going to feel bad because you don't have those skills? You can feel ashamed. Nobody feels ashamed that they don't can't cook or whatever.
Exactly.
But when people think about organizing, then they feel bad. And I'm just saying it's a skill that Some people have a talent for, like me, and some people don't, like my twin sister. And even if you don't, you can learn a
Uh,
little so that you
Right.
can feel proud of yourself because you're farther along than you were. And
Exactly.
and if you want to be creative, which I think most people want to be creative and they want time for their creative pursuits and to feel
Right.
inspired, that's
Right.
another reason why decluttering and organizing is going to leave you that time, because it's hard to explain if you've never been there, just like if you've never been in love. Like, what does it feel like to be in love?
Right.
But there's a lightness and energy flow, a something that happens when you're in an uncluttered, peaceful environment, like
Yes.
when you go to a hotel. People love
Hmm.
hotels. Why? Because there's nothing there. And the stuff that you need there, you know where it is and
Right.
you can go find it. And that feeling,
Mhm.
your house is never always going to look like a hotel. It's not going to
Right.
look like a reveal on HGTV.
Yes.
That's staged. That's not organized, that's staged. Organized means that you don't have so many piles and pieces and things laying around that you've even forgotten to look at, or you don't even know that's there, or you don't know what to do with. And then, um, and then if people come over, you're in a panic. Okay.
Right.
The idea is if you're organized, you, even if you're not tidy, even if your
Uh-huh.
house looks like, like later today, I'm getting an appraiser coming to my house. I'm like, ugh.
Uh,
But I know that I can clean it all up in 2 hours
right.
and it'll all go back to the way it's supposed to go. And
Right. Right.
so that's what we're talking about. So we're not talking staged, we're
Huh?
talking lived in, but able to find everything and access everything and know everything in your house. And so the goal of decluttering for me is to have
Mhm.
less to clean up.
Right.
You got less around, you got less to put
Yes.
away.
Yes.
And then you have space. So when it's time to go put the dishes away from the dishwasher, you don't have to open the cabinet, hope that nothing falls
Nothing
out, put
falls.
the thing in and close the cabinet real fast. Right? I mean, people do that, or they hate
Yes.
putting away their pots because, I can't get my pots to fit and I can't.
Yes.
So what happens is, especially with your kitchen, is that you always find something that you like better than what you have. So a
Right.
new set of pots, sharp knives,
Mhm.
the greatest gadget and new appliance and whatever. But what happens is people bring it home and then they don't put it, take out the one that they are replacing. They just
Right.
shove the thing that doesn't work or isn't as nice or whatever into the back of the cabinet, and then they try to put the new thing in, or there's no room in the cabinet, so the new thing stays out. And then sometimes it gets buried and you forget you have it. And now you've wasted that money because you haven't been using it. So my first goal in life is to look at what you have and then keep the best, reduce the rest. Because most people, especially in the kitchen, have duplicates, triplicates, but
Yes.
you always have a favorite. I'm
Hmm.
sure you have a favorite knife that you go to all the time for when you're prepping vegetables. And
Yes.
you
Yes.
have, your favorite saute pan, even though you've got 5 or 6 of them, right?
Right.
But ones
Exactly.
that you just generally gravitate to, those are your favorites.
Right.
So I understand having a backup, especially if you're doing a big dinner. Even though my father's Sicilian, so I've got
Uh-huh.
the Italian Di Benedetto in my heritage, but my
Yes.
mother family is Jewish, and I gravitated towards living a Jewish life.
Uh-huh.
And so I have big Jewish holidays. Okay. So I
Yes.
don't, I don't have Christmas except I make lasagna. Um, but because I grew up with Christmas, but I
Yes.
have Passover and Rosh Hashanah and these big Jewish holidays. And
Uh-huh.
so that's when I cook. And when I cook, I don't cook for 4 or 6. I cook for, an army and for a
Yes.
whole week. And so I need
Yes.
every pot and pan that I have generally.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I understand backups, okay?
Hmm.
But when your backups have backups, that's too much. So
Yes.
you want to keep the best,
Uh-huh.
reduce the rest, and every time you get something new that
Uh-huh.
you're going to want to use now because it's your favorite,
Hmm.
then you can get rid of something else. Because
Yes.
clearly you're never going to use it. It's going to get shoved to the back and it's not your favorite. The things in your kitchen that you want to look to declutter are not the things that are in the dishwasher or in the sink or on the counters, because those you're using. It's
Right.
everything that's left back in the cabinet that
Uh-huh.
you should go through first, because you're not using. And then if you free up space there, then you can put away things in a way that you can find things easily, that you can take things out without having to take out a million things.
Yes.
If you've got somebody else at home and you want them to empty the dishwasher and they hate doing that because they don't know where anything goes. And
Right.
and it's, and then you find things shoved places you don't want them,
Right.
because you can't find them. So the idea is to leave enough space in your cabinets,
Uh-huh.
um, and your shelves and closets and pantry and whatever, that you can easily put things away. You can easily take things out, because if it's not easy to take it out, you're never going to use it. So why have it? And if it's not easy to put away, it's never going to get put away. And then you're going to have visual clutter, and you're not going to be able to find what you need. Like, how many people have 10 pairs of scissors in their house? When they start decluttering, they find all these pairs of scissors. Why? Because they couldn't find it when they needed it, and they went out and got another one. So,
Exactly.
so this, if that isn't motivating enough, this should be the motivating thing. It's not about looking pretty,
Right.
having the canisters with the pretty chalkboard labels, and the, baskets, and the, yes, that's all beautiful. And of course, I'm the first one to love that.
Uh-huh.
But if it's not functional and it's not working for you, and you end up with expired food or not fresh food or whatever, then it's waste. And so that's not what we're after. We're going to declutter so we know what we have, and everything we have we're going to use. And then we want to arrange it in a way that makes sense, like your pantry. I don't know how people arrange their pantries, but for me, you do it like you go to the store, you
Hmm.
know? So you know which aisle to find things on. So you know which side of your pantry or drawer or pull out. I have pull out drawers, which are the best. Open the cabinet and then pull out the drawer. So you know where everything is. I mean, so you know
Yes.
where to find it. And if you run out of something, you keep like a laundry list.
Uh-huh.
You keep a shopping list in your,
Yes.
like, in the inside of your cabinet, right? Or
Yes.
your pantry or whatever,
Hmm.
or a whiteboard or something. And you write down what you've just used or what's running low or whatever. So you know what
Exactly.
you need for the next time. In fact, what we have is a whiteboard um, on the door leading to the laundry room, because it's right off the kitchen. And
Yes.
anything that we need, we'll just write on there when we go to the store or somebody else is at the store. They're like, hey, I'm at Trader Joe's. What do we need? I take a picture of
Uh,
what's on the whiteboard and I text it to my husband, and he buys
yes.
whatever we need. So that's the kind of organization that'll serve you well. And, refrigerators are a mess, right? Nobody can find what they need in a refrigerator. And there's tons of usually Tupperware type, food
Yes.
containers, and nobody knows what's in those.
Yes.
And if you could even find it, because now you're probably
Yes.
using baggies because you couldn't find a lid to your
To
Tupperware.
your Tupperware, right?
And so all of this stuff just makes life very difficult, and wastes a lot of food. I mean,
Yes.
the thing I love about holidays is that there's always food right there, and you know what it is, and you know it's fresh because I just
Exactly.
made it,
Yes.
and you can access it. And instead of having to play Tetris with your refrigerator, there are things that you can do to make it so that you can find things easily. One thing
Uh-huh.
that people never do is adjust the shelves.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
People don't realize that your shelves are adjustable. And if your refrigerator is within the last, 5 or 10 years, there's things that fold out and fold in, and you can move up and move down, and all these kind of things. And so you maximize the space that way, which
Hmm.
helps. Also, if you're going to have Tupperware type containers, I actually like Rubbermaid.
Uh-huh.
Um, but people know the word Tupperware from their childhood.
Yes. Yes.
But if you get containers that have the same footprint,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you real understand what that means, is that they may be different depths
Uh-huh.
and heights and all that kind of
Right.
stuff, but they
Right.
use the same top
Ah,
because they're all the same
yes.
print,
Mhm.
no matter how tall they are. Then, or you can fit two on one thing because they were
Right.
made to stack and they're
Right.
all the same brand.
Yes.
That is the best because you can store it easily. in
Exactly.
your cabinet or drawer where my containers are, and then your refrigerator or your pantry or whatever, and it doesn't waste space.
Yeah.
And it makes it very easy to find things or move things out of the way because you can put this on top of this to get to that.
Yes.
Um, and so that's another organizing tip. But organizing doesn't mean anything until things are decluttered. And
Yes. Yeah.
if you have a rule
Uh-huh.
of one thing in and one thing out.
Uh-huh.
So whenever you come home from shopping and you're putting things away, that's the best time to go through
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. Like when I have to put away the groceries, I then have to make room in the refrigerator.
Right,
And while
right.
I'm cursing out my husband because he's buying too much and I don't have room for it, I'm also making room by getting rid of the stuff that, okay, I know this is in the back. Nobody knows it's there. I know it's there. I'm not eating it.
Exactly.
Then why
Exactly.
have it? Let's just, get it to
Exactly.
I don't know if anybody is guilty of this, but I have people who open the containers, go, ew, what's that?
And
And
just
then close the containers and leave it.
leave it there. Yes.
If you're not going to eat it, who is?
Exactly.
So throw
Exactly.
it out and wash. But anyway, so but even when you're buying a new appliance, a new pot, a new anything,
Exactly.
as you go to put it away, take everything out of that one cabinet, that one drawer, that one shelf, whatever it is, get rid of something because now you don't need five of whatever it is.
Right,
And
right.
and then you can fit the new one in because you only have so much space. I call that
Exactly.
in my book, I call that crap equilibrium. So
There you go.
you have
Donna,
to do
I don't mean to
balance.
interrupt you, but we're almost out of time. And I want you to tell
Oh no.
people, I didn't realize it. I just got a warning. So I wanted to tell people where they can find your book and you. So are you available online? Do
I
you do
am.
that?
I
Okay. So
am. I
let's
have my
talk.
company is called neatlyarranged.com.
Uh-huh.
And my book is This Mess Is Making Me Stress.
Uh-huh.
And my name, Donna Barwald. If you
Yeah.
Google me, I'm all over the place now.
There you go.
And I have a Facebook group also called This Mess Is Making Me Stress, so that you can come to the group and pose your questions, answer people, get advice from me,
Uh-huh.
support each other as we declutter and organize, that kind of thing. Neatlyarranged.com. And I consult like this over
Over on
Zoom or
Zoom.
whatever. Uh-huh.
Exactly.
And if you're Los Angeles, I'll still go to your house and I'll you know, be with you. I'm not a fairy godmother. I don't wave a wand. You don't get to leave and then come back and it's all nice because it'd be nice for me, but who knows if it's functional for you. So we do it
Exactly.
together. But if you're in the LA area or if you want to pay for me to fly out to go wherever you are, I'm happy to do that too.
Yes,
Anyway,
that's great, Donna. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we'll have you back on maybe in the near future too. Just reach out. We can always use decluttering tips. So,
thanks very
thanks.
much.
Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show. And special thanks goes to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's special guest, Donna Barwald. And if you haven't already discovered the secrets of authentic Italian cuisine with my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, from mouth-watering pasta dishes to delectable desserts, my Gourmand World award-winning cookbook series brings Italy's culinary heritage to your kitchen. And there's 3 books in the series. Get your copy today at Amazon, Kindle, anywhere books are sold online. You can also get copies at marialiberati.com and artoflivingprimamedia.com. And I just wanted to also mention that the podcast will now also be heard on terrestrial radio. We'll be syndicating throughout the country. However, the first radio station is WWDB AM, that's 860 Talk Radio. And the first show will be on Saturday, May 4th at 1 p.m. You can listen if you're in the Philadelphia area on radio, or you can also pull the show up online at the WWDB website. My special guest will be former supermodel, and she also is an actress. She's an Italian actress. Actually, she acted in Italian film, but she is a former Philadelphian, and she just wrote a really interesting book. Her name is Clarissa Burt, and she will be my first guest for my podcast on WWDB. Really excited to have her. She's back in the U.S., and she's my special guest for my first show. So please join me. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to call into the show, you can email me at info@marialiberati.com with any questions that we can answer on the show, or any topics that you'd like to see covered, or if you have a suggestion for an interview, email us at info@marialiberati.com. And until next time, peace, love, and pasta.